Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. It's always a good day when I get to do a fresh crack of something that was highly sought after for me personally. And this time, it's going to be the 2025 Bomberger's release. It's part of this. It used to be a duo where every year Michter's would release a Bomberger's and a Shanks. But this year they've added the Bomberger's PFG, Precision Fine Grain. Yes, Precision Fine Grain. And it was fantastic. It was like a French oak one. That was earlier in the year. And they said this is going to be like a new annual thing. So from now on, it's going to actually be a trio, but they're not all coming out at the same time. Either way, this is the Bomberger's Declaration Bourbon. This is 108 proof, which is pretty standard for this release. My particular one, if you care about such things, bottle 1661 of 2536, batch 25E1925. I don't know if that is important to you or not. Some people geek out about that stuff. But I'm pumped to dive into this because I'm historically a fan of this duo, the Bombergers and Shanks. I don't have the Shanks, but I got the Bombergers. So I'll go ahead and crack this open. I'll pour it and let it rest a bit, and then we'll talk about what's different about this. Why is this a limited release at all? We'll get into it. Okay, beautiful bottle. So anyways, let's talk about this for a second. Bombergers, why the name Bombergers? Bombergers was the name of the distillery when it was still in Pennsylvania in the, 1800s? It then changed to Michter's, but the brand eventually got picked up and is now a Kentucky thing, right? Now it's Kentucky Michter's. But they went on to honor their heritage and the heritage of the brand. So that's where Bombergers and Shanks comes into play. So like I said, this is a bourbon. But what's different about it, two things that are kind of stand out here. First and foremost, the barrels that they, some of the barrels they used to age this batch in were Chinquapin oak. So if you're not familiar with Chinquapin oak, it's a different kind of white oak. It is indigenous to North America, but it's known for a couple of things. One, the flavors you tend to get out of the oak are more like almond and herb and a little bit of spearmint. Those are sort of the three big ones that, actual oak and whiskey connoisseurs would tell you are the sort of hallmark flavors of the wood. The other thing is that it tends to take longer to season. So a lot of this wood, it's a mix. Some of it is as young as a year and a half of seasoning in the lumber yard, right? Some of it's I think 5 years of seasoning in a lumber yard before being used to make a barrel. So it's been out there for a long time. The fungus starts to break down some of the tannins, the oak tannins, and it produces these oak sugars. The tyloses in the wood, all that business, the sciencey stuff. All you need to know is the wood gets sweeter. That's the important thing. The wood gets sweeter. So that's one thing that's noteworthy about this. So hopefully, I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll get some of that almond and herb and spearmint in here. The other thing is that Michter's does a low barrel entry proof. So the legal limit, we talked about this recently in a different video, but the legal limit for entry proof into the barrel is 125 proof. Now, a lot of times all the time, that proof point gets elevated, right? As it ages, there's evaporative loss, and it gets more concentrated in the barrel. And then usually they proof it back down to whatever they want it to be. What they're doing with Bombergers, Michter's in general, they do a low entry proof because what they want is to have to dilute it less so that we can keep a lot of those good wood flavors. So that's something that Michter's does that they're quite proud of. They're like, we believe we're extracting some great flavors from that wood. We don't want to water it down any more than we have to. We want to preserve those wood sugars in the tasting experience. So anyways, that being said, let's get in here. Well, if oak sugars, like wood sugars, is something they wanted to be present, I can tell you they have achieved a very sweet nose. A nice, delicate toasted oak in here that's not overwhelming. I can't say that I get any spearmint on the nose of this, but I will say I get that almond note is kind of coming through. It makes me think of your almond paste. If you've ever made banquette, great dessert by the way. If you've never had banquette, you got to try banquette. But anyways, that they use that almond paste inside banquette and in the baked dough. Super yummy if you've never had it. But that's kind of a note I'm getting here on the nose is that almond paste. Almost makes you think of an amaretto cream on the nose as well. A little bit of that candied cherry. And while I don't think I'm getting anything particularly herbal on the nose, I am getting some really nice delicate baking spices. There's just a hint of clove, a little bit of nutmeg, and definitely a nice cinnamony quality. It's not like a full-blown, bready cinnamon roll. It kind of makes me think of like a honey bun, right? Honey bun. A little bit of that candy glaze, that sugary glaze, and just a delicate little cinnamon swirl. But those notes are kind of taking a back seat. I think the primary notes on the nose are definitely going to be that almond paste and that amaretto cream. One thing I'm definitely appreciating about this is how approachable the nose is. It's not blowing out your nostrils. It's not like overwhelming your senses with tons of ethanol. 108 proof isn't necessarily a low proof, but it's certainly not enough to drown everything else out. And it's letting the wood really shine through here in a really nice way. Well, let's get it on. Cheers. Okay. Ooh. There's a lot going on there. It was far from being straightforward. I think the first thing I get is sweet and herbal. I told you, I didn't really get any herbs on the nose per se. But the palate of this, I almost get like this little quick kick of rosemary, if that makes sense. A little quick kick of rosemary, but it's pretty immediately swallowed up by sweet oak. Like a quick drive-by of what you might think of like a Woodford double oak palate. Just kind of quick drive-by there. So a hit of that rosemary, quick flyby, a sweet toasted oak. But then after that, then we're settling into that almond paste and the amaretto cream that we got on the nose is coming back around, but it's not early in the sip. I'd say mid-palate and then stretching into the finish. But what's interesting is that finish where I get that amaretto cream and I get that almond note, I'm also getting a return from that rosemary. I get this nice little like baking herbs kind of a note as well there in the finish, which is quite interesting. But I gotta tell you, that amaretto note is so dang good on that finish. It hangs out forever, which is impressive for something that's only 108 proof. And it kind of works with that herbal note. I mean, no, we're probably not going to take a sprig of rosemary and some amaretto cream and like take a drink and take a bite. That's not something we do. We don't tend to put those things together. But I gotta say, in terms of just like things that's making my brain make connections with for these tasting notes for this whiskey experience, I like it. I like that combination. It works. It gives it some nice balance there. It's not just sweet. It's not just oak sugars. It's not just herbs and mintiness. But they're all kind of working harmoniously to create what I think is a really diverse sipping experience. I really like it. It's got like stages. Well, what a cool whiskey. Let me pull up my score sheet. I think for me, this sip is going to land at an 8.3. 8.3. Which firmly places it in the fantastic category for me personally. I think it's fantastic. Room to grow? Sure. I really wish that almond paste note didn't wait until the finish to come back. I wish that was I think if that was really front and center, I'd like this a little bit more. If we got that amaretto and the almond sooner, you know what I'm saying? Sooner, I think I'd like this a little bit more. But that's certainly being pretty nitpicky, because otherwise it is a really tasty experience, and it's not one note. It's really complex, and I appreciate that. So there you go. That is my tasting and review of Bomberger's 2025. Big shout out to Randy who helped me acquire this. Did I say the MSRP? $120? I don't remember if I did or not. But Randy helped me get it. He found it on the shelf for MSRP, which is dope. So big shout out to Randy. Appreciate you, brother. Also big shout out to Illest, the Illest dude. Appreciate you and your support. He's our most recent joiner of the Patreon group. So really thankful for your support. He's fit right into our community. Our group of dudes is super cool, by the way. Love these guys. And really excited to continue developing our community moving forward with that. We got a live stream, by the way, this Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I have a box over here unopened with a little letter attached to it that was sent to me by my community. And it's they were like, hey, we wanted you to do a blind, but live stream it. And so I don't know what's in there. I have no clue, but we'll open it up. And I just know that they set this up, so it's probably something fairly cool, because usually they don't swing. They don't bunt. Let me just say that. They're not looking to just bunt. They're not looking for a base hit. My community, they tend to like swinging for the fences. So I'm willing to bet this is a pretty cool blind, whatever it is. So Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be opening that up, live streaming it right here on the YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. If you want to get involved in our community, there's a link in the description that takes you right to our Discord. Totally free to join. You can see if you get down with us. And if you do, you could then always go and click on the Patreon link and join the Patreon group. The base tier is $1. It's basically free. And that gets you access to the Patreon lounge and our Discord, as well as opportunities to do cool things. So, speaking of cool things, we are going to run two raffles. For the winners will be getting samples from the entire rainbow of Weller products from Buffalo Trace. So if you're like, man, I've got the Weller, I've got the Reserve, but I don't have the Full Proof, or I don't have the 12-year, I don't have the Antique 101, I don't have the CYPB. If you've ever wanted to have all of them and sit down with all of them and taste through all of them, this is your chance. We'll be raffling off 2 full sets of the rainbow in sample bottles. So, courtesy of Randy, by the way, in the Discord. He managed to get the whole rainbow, and he just felt like sharing. And that's the kind of folks we got in there, by the way. So anyways, in order to do this, tomorrow, so today is Tuesday, tomorrow, aka Wednesday, we will be running a raffle for our Patreon members. Raffle number 1 will just be open to all Patreon members. Okay? Just completely fair, even ground, whether you're a $1 tier, $5 tier, $10 tier, $25 tier, doesn't matter. Everybody gets a fair shake. The next raffle winner will just be selected from the $10 and above, the top 2 tiers. And so that's how we're going to run that. So if you want to get involved in that, pretty self-explanatory. But we'll be running those raffles tomorrow and on my lunch break, so probably around noon. I'll sit down and we'll use the raffle generator online. See what happens. Sound good? Okay, with that, cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.